Cuma kita berjasa untuk kita. Mereka tak tahu rasa hati kita. Sama-sama kita jaga kita.
Assalamualaikum. Hi everything. So today we are going to learn about the first subtopic of chapter 5, which is the concept of inheritance based on Mendel's experiment. So Gregor Mendel is known as father of genetics because he is the first person to discover the basic genetic principles governing inheritance by counting the number of offspring of a garden pea plant. So, how Mendel cross-pollinated the pea plant? First, he removed stamen from the purple flower. Then, he transferred pollen from stamen of white flower to stigma of purple flower. After that, he pollinated couple mature into pot. Then he planted the seed. Then he gained 4 purple flower.
As we know, our topic is inheritance. Do you know what is inheritance? What about characteristic? While traits is... Starting from 1856, Mr. Gregor Mendel, an Austrian monk, grew and studied about peas plant, which involves transfer of characters from parent to the progeny. After his education, he started growing peas for 10 years. He observed various differences characteristic of them. At first Mendel's trial, he found differences in height of the plant. Actually, a plant can undergo changes in all kinds of characteristics and not just affected on height. For his study, he found 2 types of inheritance, which is monohybrid inheritance and the second one is dihybrid inheritance. So, Mendel combined a purebred yellow-seeded plant with a purebred red-seeded plant, and he got only yellow seed and called the yellow-colored trait a dominant one. Then, he let the new yellow-seeded hybrid plant do a self-fertilization and he got both yellow and green seeds. For the second trait, he named it as a recessive one.
Next, we will go through Mendel's experiment called monohybrid inheritance. Monohybrid cross involving a pair of different traits character of plant. For example, 2 varieties of pea plant, which is pea plant with green flower and another one is pea plant with yellow flower. As a result of meiosis both plant, 1 chromosome from maternal and paternal plant will be part of gamete. The original parents are called parental generation or P generation. As we can see from the diagram, the parental generation has yellow flower as dominant traits and green flower as a recessive traits. Mendel grew new plant using parental generation seed, and the result of the parental cross is called first generation or F1 generation. Next, the pollination between F1 generation plant is called second filial generation or F2 generation. Mendel discovered that in F1 generation only manifested dominance traits. That's why all F1 pea plants produce yellow flowers, while for the F2 generation plant, there is 3 of yellow flower plant and only 1 plant of green flower. This is because the recessive allele can only manifest itself when dominant allele is absent.
Vocabulary of genetics. Genotype. Genetic constituent of an organism like the capital B and the small b. Phenotype. Observable characteristic determined by specific genotype. As you can see, the purple flower and the white flower. So allele located at same locus on the homologous chromosome, either female or male. Dominant allele that produce phenotype like the capital A. Recessive allele produce phenotype when there is no dominant allele like only small a. So homozygous, identical alleles like the capital B and the capital B, small b and small b. So heterozygous, different alleles like capital B and small b. So gene, basic unit of inheritance that controls a particular trait like color, height, or else. Pure line, same particular trait, unchanged.
Okay, so we now have understood the monohybrid cross and the monohybrid ratio as well. We also have already seen a monohybrid cross for characters like the plant height and the flower color individually. So let us consider these characters together to understand the hybrid cross. For our convenience, we take one plant which has both dominant characters while the other with both having recessive characters. It means we take both the plants which are homozygous. What genotypes will be? So TTPP in uppercase will be the plant which is tall with purple color flowers. Similarly, TTPP in lowercase will represent a plant that is dwarf and has white color flowers. So this is how we separate the gamete. Take a moment to understand this. Now, to get a conclusive result, we need to cross the offsprings from the F1 generation and get the F2 generation. Will it be easy to do crossing here? Definitely not. That is the reason why we opt for Punnett square for the hybrid cross. So, how do we cross these to fill in the 16th slot? We cross each row and column respectively. For example, all four, as we can see in the first column, are tall with purple flowered plants. That's because there is at least one capital T and one capital P in each case. As we can see, we have 9 plants which are tall and with purple color flowers. 3 plants show tall and white color flowers, and 3 plants show the dwarf and purple flowers, and 1 plant show dwarf and white plants. So then we obtain a ratio 9 to 3 to 3 to 1. This ratio is referred to as the hybrid ratio.
We have seen the monohybrid cross, so we will move to the hybrid cross. The hybrid cross is cross involving 2 characters at a time. There is also the hybrid ratio that we will see after this. The hybrid cross, we will use mouse as an example. So here we got homozygous black-haired short-tailed mouse. Then we got homozygous white-haired long-tailed mouse. We call the mouse homozygous because identical gametes are present on both homologous chromosomes. So the genotype for the black-haired mouse is uppercase AA and uppercase BB. Then the genotype for white-haired is lowercase AA and lowercase BB. So the uppercase AA represent black-haired, the uppercase BB represent short-tailed. So the lowercase AA will represent white-haired and the lowercase BB will represent long-tail. After the gametes of parent cross, we get the first filial generation. The first generation phenotype is black-haired and short-tail. So for your information, phenotype is observable physical properties. Then the first generation genotype is uppercase A, lowercase a, uppercase B and lowercase b. So based on genotype of first generation, we can see that the presence of one dominant gene is enough to express the phenotype. So this is why the first generation mouse is black-haired and short-tailed. Across the first generation, which have same phenotypes, same genotypes and same gametes. After we sort out the gametes from genotype, we can see that the number of gametes can make the crossing a bit complicated. So the regular cross will not be convenient to carry out. So we will use the Punnett square. So this is the Punnett square. Punnett square is very simple and very useful when more genes are involved. So korang boleh nampak kan, senang je Punnett square ni, dah faham kan. So yang lepas dia dah fascination tu dah cross, orang nampak yang dalam kotak tu dia ada, itulah genotypes second generation. That's the hybrid ratio. So here we got phenotype ratio. Like I said earlier, phenotypes is observable physical properties. So berdasarkan table, kita boleh dapat black head short tail mouse dapat 9 dengan dia. Dan black head long tail we get 3, then white head short tail we get 3, and white head long tail we get 1. So the ratio is 9:3:1. So that's all for me. Thank you.